of the serves are actually coming long, all right? So even if we do step forward to flip on the short ball, if we see the ball is coming long, we need to be able to measure and then move. Same thing for backhand. We feel that the ball is short, we move in, but the ball is actually long, we adjust and then move. This is one of the main themes that I actually practice with a lot of my students. Come on up, Sarah. You feel that the serve is short. For some reason, whether it be the timing, the racket angle, the first bounce, you feel it's short and you move in, but the serve actually, go ahead and step in for your forehand. The serve actually comes long. You need to be able to move. Same thing for backhand. She's coming in for the short ball, but the ball comes long. You need to be able to adjust and then be able to loop that ball. If you can only flip and you can only loop, but if you get tricked, you directly miss or you make a bad decision, it's going to be difficult for you to progress. So it's not just a matter of how good you are when you understand what's coming, it's a matter of how good you are when you're surprised. So I was asking everybody to serve short, but about 50% of the serves were coming long enough to loop. The other thing is the movement. So ideally for both backhand and forehand, we talked about this last week a lot, is really being able to move both feet into position. If Sarah just steps forward with one foot, go ahead and step forward with one foot, then she'll probably flip that ball across. But if she's more detailed, getting ready position, and being able to position herself with both feet for this one, or this one, or this one, then she has more options to hit different locations. Why is it that flip placement is so important? It's actually more important than loop placement. Why is that, Mandy? Because the distance is so short, okay? So if I'm back here and I loop this out, you ready? No matter where I loop to, she's going to be able to adjust and then be able to hit. But if I'm here, a very close distance, and I play good location here, good location in the middle, it's very difficult for her to react, right? So a lot of people think, okay, one takeaway for today is that I have to flip to a good location. Well, yes, but it's easier said than done. What do you actually have to do to be able to flip to a good location? Is you have to be very detailed at moving both feet in, both feet in, both feet in, both feet in, both feet in. As you're able to move both feet in, now you have more options as far as different qualities of flip, as well as different locations. So Sarah, I want you to be very detailed at moving both feet. I don't want them to just watch your feet for a second. As you move and flip forehand and backhand in different locations. And then even though I'm not going to get the next ball back, I want you to return back as if it's coming. The better you are at moving both feet, not only do you have more options location, you get better quality, but the response back is also easier. For some of the players, unfortunately, our left foot was somehow super glued to the floor. We were lunging with the right, and then the recovery for the next ball was very difficult. So the expectation is really that you be detailed and moving both feet, hit, and then be able to recover and play afterwards. You're not going to be able to flip so strong that you just directly hit it past Ron every single time. He's going to get it back. But when he gets it back, how good are you at recovery on the next ball? Why is it that a lot of people don't use flip? Why don't a lot of people use flip in tournaments? They practice it, but they don't use it in tournaments. Jacob? Okay, you feel more comfortable with the push because you're nervous. But why are we nervous with that, Sandeep? Because some people go too hard, okay? They practice flip all year, they're amped up, their coach gave a little pep talk before the match, I'm going to use my flip, right? And they come here, and they pound it into the net, and they pound it into the net, they're like, nope, I knew it, flip's not going to work. So the rest of the tournament, they just use push. They're like, I'm just going to go home and practice it more, right? So what they have to be able to do is find the timing and do a reasonable flip, and then as the match progresses, then they can amp up the quality. Sid's got a great question. Nice and loud, so everyone can hear.
So, like, in the fifth game,
yes.
they're used to using flip.
Okay.
But I feel like flip is
okay.
better, like, push.
So generalizations are a little bit dangerous. thinking that everybody's always going to adjust to it. I would say possibly you're right, but some players flip is the best option. And if they're always adjusting to your flip, you could say, I'm going to stop flipping. Or you could say, I could change the quality of my flip. Okay? Many times in Texas, when Sarah's playing national team trials and US Nationals. She's like, my flip isn't working. I'm like, yeah, because you're giving like this quality. Of course they're blasting faster. Ramp it up with more spin and better location. And stop flipping here and here, and let's see what happens. They can't play because now she's playing one here, one very wide here, one very wide here, and now they're stuck. So one option is to say, flip's not working, I'm gonna push. The other option is to say, flip isn't working to that location. I'm gonna keep going with flip because that's my strong game, but I'm gonna change quality or change location. Good observation. And this mindset that Sid's talking about applies to everything. I wrote an article one time called Fix It or Trash It. Every time that we're in a scenario, we have to think, is that scenario the correct one? Tactically, is that correct? And can I play better or different in that scenario? Or do I need to change the dynamics of the match? Do you understand? Sometimes by the way you stand to serve, by the type of return you make, by the offensiveness of your hit, you can change the dynamics of the match. Sometimes you want to change, and sometimes you don't want to change. But just don't get too stuck on generalizations that every single opponent, every time, in game 5, I'm only going to push because they're used to my flip. It's a little bit dangerous when you start generalizing it too much. All right, guys, any other questions? Okay, we're going to wrap. Oh, yes, absolutely. That's a great question, and I was really actually hoping somebody was going to ask that. Is there a way of telling if your opponent is serving short or long? Usually it's by the first bounce on their side. So usually when the first bounce is that deeper here, then usually it's going to be more of a long serve. And then usually if the first bounce is coming here, it's more of a short serve. Okay? Have you ever heard of short fast serves and short slow serves? Okay, this is more higher level, but this also is a thing. So I'm going to give you an exception that just kind of counters what I just said. Are you ready? A short slow serve is a serve that hits kind of up in here, and it's more of like a floaty type serve. A short fast serve is a short serve that hits here and is still 2 bounces, which mine was not. Still 2 bounces, okay? So this is a short fast serve and this is a short slow serve. Until you're like higher than 22, 23, 2400, you won't see that many high quality, like short fast serves that actually make 2 bounces. This is like very, very unusual. But I want you to be aware, when you're on the national team of Canada, you will see that sometimes. But for right now, at your current level, when the ball is up in here, usually it's the short serve, like the short slow serve. You can go ahead and move in. And then usually when the first bounce is back here, it's the fast serve. Make sense? I was hoping somebody was going to ask that, but good question, good question. Any other questions? Ron, you told me you were cooking up something good. I'm still waiting.
I got one for you.
Oh man. It's like a comic, right? It's like a joke of the day.
It's kind of deep.
It's kind of deep.
Why are some players better at back flipping than forehand flipping? Is it a left brain versus right brain?
That's good. I'm going to think about that one during lunch break, and I'll let you know today. All right. I need 28 of you on this side.